I want to talk a little bit about the difference between branches and forks and clones. So, all of those are ways of sort of getting a second copy of your code. So, in the videos, I'll talk about branching. And so, you can create a branch of your project where, for example, in my Django project, I have one branch that handles all the views as functions and a different branch where they handle all the views as classes. And so those two branches are just two ways of developing the same outcome. And I wanted to see how one worked versus the other. So I did them both. You might do a branch to deal with a security issue in code and take care of that right away and sort of put aside additional development. You may have a branch when you're working with a collaborator, the other collaborator will work on a branch, and then you'll merge their work back in with yours, things like that. You use branches for a variety of different things, but they're usually a way of sort of separating out a logical part, a logical chunk of your code, and then you can merge it back in with the main master stream of your code. A fork is not quite the same thing. I mean, it sounds like the same thing in a lot of ways. Fork in the road and a branch in the road are basically the same thing, right? But what a fork is when you are looking at sort of somebody else's project, but you want to modify it and work on it, and you may even give back some of your changes and suggest them as major changes to or minor changes, as the case may be, to their project. But a fork is something you do where you're not actively collaborating with somebody. A branch, if you're working one-on-one with somebody, you're working in it as a team with somebody else, they should give you a branch. They will choose to give you a branch. A fork is something you can do. You can go out on the internet anywhere you want. You can pick up OpenCV, whatever you want to do, and fork it and make your own copy of it and then mess with it all you want if it's open source software. So a fork is something that you do when you don't have a connection to the developers. When you are one of the developers, you would use a branch. A clone is generally something you would do if you just want a functioning copy of somebody's code. And so if you want, say, OpenCV, which is a great library for computer vision, and I just want to be able to use it, I would just clone it. And then I have a copy of it. I can compile it, execute it, whatever I need to do, but I'm probably not going to modify it if I'm cloning it. If I wanted to modify it and really work on it, I should fork it. If I'm part of the development team, then I should have my own branch on it. And so that's really the difference between branching and forking and cloning.